Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today what I want to do is a video on what to eat for breakfast. It's going to be a two-part video, and then what you would eat for, say, lunch or dinner. Now, for breakfast, it's kind of simple. You want to get a couple different keto breakfasts that you like, that you can make pretty quick, that will actually satisfy you and make you feel pretty good after eating them. Because if you don't feel good with that, then there's a chance that you're going to end up hungrier later in the day, and that's not what you want to go for. So one of the first ones that I would recommend is just straight up bacon and eggs. Now, when you go with the eggs, if you can, you want to go with something that's more of a farm fresh egg, and you'll see the difference here. There's quite a bit of difference, and that's because the healthier the chicken, the healthier the feed that the chicken gets, the healthier that the yolk is, and the darker the color of the yolk is, and then that's healthier for you. Okay, and then as far as bacon, go with uncured bacon, because curing bacon means that they've put it in a sugar, they've added something to it. It's just something that you want to try to go as clean with your food as you possibly can. And we'll talk about other foods like that later. But as far as bacon, try and go with uncured. It's usually a little bit more expensive, but you're going to feel the benefits. You're going to actually feel a little bit better doing it. Now, with that, I would say on my second dish that I would do is probably like a bacon, egg, spinach, you could even put some cheese in there, casserole. And that's if, say you have a busy week ahead of you, make it in a big casserole dish, put all the ingredients, and it's just a matter of putting what you want in it. You put a whole bunch of eggs in there, okay, you mix them up. You put a whole bunch of butter in there, and you're gonna mix that up with it. You're gonna pre-cook some bacon, chop that up, put that in there, throw some raw spinach in there, mix it all up, sprinkle some cheese in there. You don't want to go too crazy on dairy, but just to give it a little bit of a cheese. And then you can spice it up any other way you want. Of course, you want to put salt in there. You want to put maybe that no salt stuff that I recommend in some of my other videos. It'll give you that boost of potassium that you're looking for, and it will help with your electrolytes a little bit. All right. Now that you can then refrigerate all week and just cut little squares out, reheat them, and then there you have your breakfast. Pretty quick and easy, and it's a time saver. It's a really good idea. My mother-in-law actually does that for us when we go down there. Because she has so many mouths to feed, so she puts out that, and it's become my favorite. Another breakfast that I would recommend is probably like a steak, eggs, and even asparagus in your breakfast. You're going to see that when you eat breakfast, it doesn't always have to be those traditional breakfast foods, because a lot of those traditional breakfast foods had a lot of carbs in them, like your French toast, your pancakes, your cereals, your fruits. Ugh. Okay. We'll get into that later too. Now, the steak, you want to make probably about a 4-ounce cut of steak. You want to make sure it's a higher fat steak, or even say a pork belly, a piece of pork belly. I went to the deli the other day, and I got some pork belly. I got about 2 pounds, and I had them cut in 4-ounce sections. So it was basically, you just took each pound of it and they cut it in 4s. And I cook it up like bacon. Now it's a lot more fat on it and thicker than regular bacon. So I think what I'll do is just cut that up in smaller size pieces, like dice it up or something like that. And then I'll probably mix it in with my eggs. And for eggs, it doesn't matter if they're scrambled. It doesn't matter if they're sunny side up, if they're over easy, or an omelet even. It's just a matter of getting the yolk as well as the egg white. Don't just eat egg whites, because literally if you eat an egg white, believe it or not, the egg white will actually spike your insulin more than if you ate it with the yolk. The yolk will actually keep the insulin response lower. So it's a good bit of information that I just learned the other day. Another breakfast that I would choose is the Bulletproof coffee. Now, I go with a decaf because I don't really need the caffeine. I don't have that low energy. So I think that, and sometimes I might do like 1 Keurig cup of caffeine and 1 Keurig cup of decaf, and I'll mix them together. And then of course I'll do my 2 tablespoons of butter, my 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. I'll do my pinch of sea salt, my pinch of cinnamon, and my pinch of stevia, and I'll blend it all up. And that would be just a basic, for me, Bulletproof coffee. Now, if I want, I'll do what I did in that last video where I made it a full meal, and you could check out that video about making a bulletproof meal. And that's a good video too on an idea for breakfast. Now, that can be also part of a workout drink. And like if I'm going on a day where I'm going to go work out, and what I want to do is I want to eat those bacon and eggs, okay, and the same way I explained earlier, and also the Bulletproof coffee. Now, the bacon and eggs will keep me satisfied for a long period of time. With the MCT oil, will actually get into my bloodstream and give me that energy that I'm going to need right off the bat. And that energy is from an MCT oil that has like a C8, which is a caprylic acid, and a C10. You don't want to go with an MCT oil that has something other than those two. A lot of times you'll see some of these MCT oils that have a C12, and that tends to be a long chain triglyceride instead of a medium chain. And the difference is that long chain will actually have to go into your liver and get processed into an energy source before it actually gets into your bloodstream. So going with the C8 and C10, you're going to get that extra energy a little quicker, and it's going to be more on that keto friendlier kind of food. Okay, and that whole ketogenic state, it's going to work for you that way. Another thing that I would recommend for breakfast is a salad. If it doesn't have to, like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be breakfast food. A salad is a good way to get those vegetables in. It's a good way to get those fats in, and it's a good way to get a little bit of protein. But overall, it's going to make you feel better starting your day, okay? Because it's not just, you know, your basic proteins and your fats. You're actually getting in some of those leafy greens and maybe some crunchy green carbohydrates that are actually better for your body than some of those other carbohydrates that we all try to avoid on this diet. It's not the norm to eat a salad for breakfast, but once you do it a couple of times, it doesn't make a difference. It's just filling. So it's something that I would definitely recommend to try. And some people just, they either feel really good by eating eggs and bacon, which is the way I am most of the time, or they could actually try and go outside that box and go with that salad. Now, there's other things that you can do. You can actually go with like waffles. I made waffles the other week back for my wife and I on a day that I was off, and I'll show that recipe right here. And they really turned out good, and they were still staying within that ketogenic kind of state. They didn't spike my insulin. I always check it after everything I try that's kind of new. I want to make sure that it didn't spike my blood sugar. I want to make sure that there wasn't anything in there that my body doesn't like. And the way I check it now, I've talked to a couple people this week about how I check to see if I'm still making ketones, if I'm still in that ketogenic state. Now, every day that I've checked this week, I'm still in ketosis. I seem to be in it 24/7, because what I'll do is I usually, when I wake up, I'll look and see if I'm in ketosis, because the time where I go without food is how I want to check it most of the time, because I want to make sure that my body's not producing a glycogen. And I check my blood sugar. My blood sugar's been in the 70s, and I check my ketones. And my ketones have been over 1, usually about 1.9. So even in the 2s sometimes. Now, so I know that my body is actually making the ketones. It's utilizing those ketones now. I don't have that drop in energy, and you will have that drop in energy in the beginning if you try to work out too soon. The ketogenic diet doesn't require you to work out, because it's actually very good to not work out in the beginning, so that your body gets adapted over to utilizing fat, and then you bring in workouts slowly as you get better, as you get more keto adapted, as you get more fat adapted, and honestly, that's going to take months. You'll see some places that try to claim it only takes 2 or 3 weeks. It's really not that true. It's a battle, and especially if you've cheated or you goofed up just a little bit, it sets you back. So staying strict will still take a couple months, and I know it's not the quick fix that most people love to hear. It's not quick results that they want. They get that first bit of water weight off, and then they stall, and that's because the body's still trying to figure out what you're doing. It doesn't know whether you're trying to starve it out, or doesn't know whether you're trying to give it some sort of new energy source, which is what we're trying to do. So it takes a little while for it to adapt over to that. Now, besides those waffles, you can do like this 90-second muffin, and that's kind of neat. I like that. I just cook one less egg when I make it. So I'll make that, I'll cut it in half, and then I'll put it back on the skillet, and I'll fry it up in a little bit of butter. And it gets a little crispier that way. All right. So, and then I eat it kind of like an Egg McMuffin. So I'll put my bacon and my egg inside of that, and I'll eat it like a sandwich. And that just changes the pace up just a little bit different. So it's just something new and something different to try. Also, there's this stuff that I made a few times, and it's called cloud bread, and it's listed right here. It takes a little more effort to make this stuff. You have to separate eggs and cream of tartar and stuff like that. Tartar, or what, I don't know, whatever it's called. I don't think it's tartar though. I think that's raw hamburger. Cream of tartar, I think, something like that. Anyway, that goes in with the egg whites. You have to fluff them up and like make a meringue almost out of them, and then you're going to slowly mix in the eggs with it. And I'm going to attach the recipe here, and then you just kind of put little dollops on. I did it on parchment paper, and then put them in the oven. And then you watch them, and they're gonna get a slight golden brown to them, and that's when you pull them out. You let them cool, and then those can actually be like little biscuits, almost like little slices of bread, sort of. Now, this isn't really recreating something. This is actually making something that's actually very keto and will help you stay within your ketosis, because it's almost all egg. That's all it is. It's not like you're adding something else to it. It's pretty much all egg. There's a little bit, I think, maybe coconut flour or something in there. I can't remember, but it's not much. It's not a lot. Now, the one point I wanted to really stress, though, for breakfast, and a lot of people want to keep doing this, is to add fruit to their breakfast, because that's what they used to do, and they feel comfortable with that fruit. But the thing is that you're trying to get away from sugar. And I get people that ask me about that, and I tell them, I haven't had sugar, but I haven't had fruit for almost 3 years. And actually for over 3 years now. Now, fruit still will spike your blood sugar the same way that regular sugar would do, the same way that most of those fake sugars will actually do. So for somebody to think, well, it's just fruit sugar, that's all natural, it's healthy for you, you have to have fruit, and it's just not, that's not true. When you're insulin resistant, sugar is actually going to affect you. no matter how it gets into your body, whether it's through fruit, whether it's through fake sugars, or whether it's through carbohydrates or excessive protein, anything like that. All right? So, that's going to be my breakfast tutorial. I hope it gives you some ideas. I hope some of these gave you a way to make your own food plan, because I can actually make somebody a food plan, but I don't really think it's good for you, because I don't know what foods you like. And that's tends to then have to get a lot of extra information, and you could make your own. You just take the keto-friendly foods, you make your own breakfast ideas. You come up with it. It'll give you something to do. It'll get you to think more about the ketogenic diet. It'll get you to understand it more. It'll help you realize, because some of the foods for me, there's probably a few that will be fine for me, but may not be fine for you. And then I go into that with calories. People are all worried about the calories too, and they're like, how do I know how many calories to eat? Well, I don't believe in the calorie counting thing. I don't believe in calories in versus calories out, because I burn calories different than you would. The way food is processed in my body is so much different than the way it's processed in yours. So if we ate 100 calories of the same food, we're not going to process it the same way. We're not going to burn it the same way. So how can they actually grade it through a calorie system the same way? They could say, well, that 100-calorie cookie is 100 calories. And you could say, well, if I have this many calories, I should lose weight. And if I eat this many calories, I'm going to gain weight. Now, what if I burn that thing differently and I could eat twice as many of those cookies? Logically, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm one of these ones that I'm not into counting calories. And I kind of guess I got that from Jason Whitrock, and also with Dr. Eric Westman, because he doesn't really tell you how many calories or anything to start out with. He just tells you to eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. And that's always worked for me. And I believe that can actually work for the majority of you guys out there too. So don't overthink this diet. Don't overthink breakfast. Get as much fats in as you can, because breakfast is one of those meals where you can get a lot of the healthier fats in. You can get a lot of that animal fat. You can get a lot of that extra butter. You can get a lot of that MCT oil, because of the foods that you're going to eat. There tends to be a lot of that in all those different dishes that you have. When in doubt, add more fat. That's it. It's pretty simple. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead, take a little break, and then I'm going to come back with the keto lunch and dinner kind of ideas, and hopefully those will help you with other meals as well. All right, for this one, we're done. Thanks, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please share, pass it on to your friends. Let me know by hitting the thumbs up whether you like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and please hit that bell so that you're notified when I put a new video out. All right. Well, I thank everybody. I thank you for all your views. I thank you for all the comments, and I thank everybody for sticking with me and watching all these videos. And I hope that I'm actually getting some great information out to you guys. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.